Hello folks, so this is Miguel from the Embargo Man channel. I'm gonna see if it's check recording. Okay, right now there's one simple subject that all these politicians, and not just in the US but around the world, they were talking about something about fracking. Fracking, today we're going to talk about fracking and offshore drilling, right? What is fracking? It's just what I point out to see it on YouTube, other videos on YouTube, and it's still about fracking. Fracking is just a method of getting oil and gas through digging deeper in the water, deeper in land. And you could have this thing, these apparatus, like you go into like a couple of miles or meters or like inches through there, going deep through there where you could fracture a rock, right? Fracture or something, fracking, right? And then after that, you put these two holes, like this pipeline, at least that don't freaking mess up the fracking. But you gotta add a bunch of chemicals like acid and all this other crap, and then with that water ain't suitable. It would just comes out popping out the oil and gas, right? So the problem in America, in the USA, people were freaking protesting about fracking. Here in Colombia, they're doing the same thing too. And then this is a paper a couple of protesters gave me about this fracking. That means on June 7th, the state have said the implement on fracking here in Colombia. In Fusagasugá, 100 municipalities, and this is about no to fracking, about 30,000 votes saying no on fracking, right? So this is in the Sumapaz area or something. They wanted to do fracking and messed up the agriculture, right? I mean, fracking has caused cancer, and because of the fracking, the fracking pipelines, when they got messed up and it contaminate the water, people get cancer from drinking water because of fracking, right? Fracking has caused cancer, whatever the types it is, could be brain, all it is because of fracking. Fracking has killed people because fracking has gave cancer to everybody. It's not just conservatives and liberals, Republicans nor Democrats. I'm not a politician, but if I were a politician, I would like toss some BS and say, well, fracking's good, fracking's not good, or I want to point out, oh yeah, just use nuclear energy. No. One thing I might say, that this is somebody, a politician, that I think they could take out one of the, she became like part of late night jokes. And I mean, this person that in the United States of America, her name is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She will speak out about that, but before I get into that, there's one thing that's called about capitalism. And they say capitalism is like a bad word. It's like, sex, right? Let's say, oh yeah, let's go have sex with a hooker, right? No. This is just having a bad word with capitalism. There's one thing is called responsible capitalism. Responsible capitalism is capitalize on alternatives, do capitalism the right way, what it is good for humankind. You know, I mean, this is one thing that these big companies, these big oil companies, right? Those big oil companies are after this thing about not about fracking, but there's another type of there's another type of fracking. There's just fracking underwater, or it's called offshore drilling. Offshore drilling is nothing more than a chip that you go underwater and you have to drill, and you gotta go put dirt and stuff. Maybe they might use the same thing, the same chemicals. It's just fracking, but underwater, going to the seashore and getting out all the oil and gas from beneath the seashore, underneath the sea. That, in that way, from offshore drilling, that means have been contaminated and have ruined, you know, the fishing industry, you know, the catch, you know, the seafood industry, you know, because of offshore drilling, right? And then you have all these dead fish, shrimp, and other sea creatures used for seafood. Then was the same thing with that, right? So I'm just saying, fracking and offshore drilling is that it's not just a U.S. problem. It's not just a Colombia problem. It's a worldwide problem, right? Whatever it is with the politicians would say, I mean, any politician, I mean, you just don't make an offer for fracking, right? Or for offshore drilling or anything like that, because they're gonna ruin your lives, and you gotta see alternatives. You know, crude oil is like less harmful than fracking and less harmful than offshore drilling, right? So what it is for one politician, I mean, the queen of late night jokes of SNL and stuff, Alexandria, right? Or they call her AOC, right? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. The thing you could say is about fracking. Why don't you just go there and talk about fracking and offshore drilling, and what is the cause of ruin the seafood industry on offshore drilling, ruin, you know, cultivations and farming about fracking, and people getting cancer from drinking water because of fracking? Yes, that is just a task to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, even though I like her point of view of her mind, you know, her state of mind of some things that I could agree with about this. But once and for all, I'm not saying, I'm not against capitalism, right? I'm in favor of responsible capitalism to capitalize on alternatives, capitalize on what other things you could have. Like, for example, soy. I mean, you could make gasoline out of soy, or call it soyline. This is just an idea that I have in mind that I believe is a great invention, right? For you, it's a great invention. It's a great investment on having this idea of inventing soyline, soy diesel, you know, and what else in these other alternatives. And this thing could prevent fracking. It could prevent offshore drilling. It would save the seafood industry. It could save the agriculture industry, and it could save drinking water. And then that way you prevent cancer out of drinking water because of these chemicals. And what it is like people in these fracking areas, when they have these pipelines made out of metal or made out of rock or out of stone, what if they get messed up? Or all this crap, all these acid garbage and all this, other, like, they're gonna screw up the farmers. They're gonna screw up the drinking water process. And then what are you gonna do? You're gonna get some skin cancer because of taking a shower? Of course, there's a possibility of getting skin cancer for taking a shower because of fracking, right? That would means, people, they're spreading cancer. The fracking thing spreads a bunch of cancer wherever they have fracking. People have cancer. When you drink water, you're drinking cancer. That's the point of fracking. Getting oil and gas out of fracking. And offshore drilling, dead fish, seafood industry is ruined. Louisiana has ruined their seafood industry because offshore drilling. I mean, this is something, folks, that any politician would spread out BS when it says, okay, instead of fracking, let's invest in nuclear energy. Let's invest in whatever they come up with some kind of BS that will say to frack or not to frack. Okay, put this fracking aside. Put this fracking aside. You have two sides between liberals and conservatives, Republicans, Democrats, whatever your conservative or liberal party's called. You have a person in the middle. Okay, we need people in the middle, or just responsible individuals have a response, or have capitalized an alternative, have responsible capitalism in saying to do what is good for humanity, good for your own kind, whichever country, helping your own country, helping your kind. Or you want to support these corporate dummies, these corporate idiots that they don't know, they don't care about you, they don't care about me, they only care about the money, they care about green. That's it. They care about green like in the dollars, right? So what it is about this, any responsible politician, even speaking out their mind, doesn't matter if they're liberal, conservatives, they're gonna speak about against fracking and against offshore drilling, right? Speaking against those two things, and then having these thing about soylene. If soylene would be a great invention, it would just prevent fracking. It prevents cancer from drinking water, and all the stuff would prevent, saving the seafood industry. So what I say about responsible capitalism, right? Responsible capitalism is capitalizing alternatives, whichever alternatives comes to your mind, right? So this is also for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, go to say about both parties. Both parties, and I can see if I haven't said, okay, go to talk to both parties about offshore drilling and how offshore drilling has ruined seafood, have ruined tourism. You don't have beautiful beaches in the Gulf Coast because of offshore drilling and about fracking. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez talked to them about fracking, and what does fracking has caused a bunch of cancer to the farmers. So want to freaking, grow your crops, and their crops are like have water from fracking, and how they get cancer from drinking water. And then why did they have cancer from drinking water, and why did they get skin cancer because of taking a shower because of fracking, right? That is a subject for Alexandria Cortez. That is a subject for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she's like the queen of late night jokes and like in SNL and stuff, and tell me what other kind of alternatives that you think that is better off. Like soil lean is that you have gasoline made out of soy that you could use your regular cars, right? No need to. That means you could save people from getting cancer from drinking water from fracking, and save the seafood industry from offshore drilling, right? So write me a comment. Please write me a comment. What other kind of alternatives do you think that you could prevent fracking and offshore drilling? Please subscribe to the Embargo Man channel, and please write me any comment. Alright, please tell me, write me any comment about what alternatives to prevent fracking and offshore drilling. Please comment, and please hit the bell button so reminder for more videos right here on the Embargo Man channel. Goodbye and peace out.